This as Fox News now learns 6 Secret Service agents were suspended without pay over their failed response. Let's bring in Paul Mauro, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. How are you reflecting back on that day today?
Yeah, so I was out there not long afterwards, and it was a very eerie thing to be walking around in that field and to see the line of sight to that roof and to say to yourself, wow, it was a matter of inches, and that's the roof, and this is the stage. It's close. It's like closer than I realized, certainly for a long-range rifle. America got lucky that day. We have to recognize that. And look, you know, as law enforcement, while we often are defensive, we understand that what goes into the work is sometimes not always appreciated or understood by the public. We gain no trust if we try to cover for the fact that the ball was really dropped in this instance, and we have to own up to it.
President Trump was asked about this in his upcoming interview with Lara Trump. It's going to air this weekend.
Right.
Here's what he identifies as a mistake made that day. Listen.
They should have had somebody in the building. That was a mistake. They should have had communications with the local police. They weren't tied in. And they should have been tied in. So there were mistakes made. And that, you know, shouldn't have happened. And that building was a prime building in terms of what they were trying to do. So, but I was satisfied in terms of the bigger plot, the larger plot.
Yeah, so I mean, look, my assessment is, and the assessment that came out of the review in Congress is exactly what the president is saying. The planning was botched. That's why there is suspensions relative to the Pittsburgh field office, because this event was under the Pittsburgh field office. And my understanding, it was the supervisors there who've been suspended because it doesn't look like they set up the communication tent so that everybody's talking to each other. The field work that's done, the pre-assessment done before an event like this, it doesn't look like it was locked up. So there were a lot of things that really went awry here, and the management here, which is rare, very often it devolves down to the ground. In this instance, I think the review has revealed that management is who blew this. And so, you know, it's good that they're being held accountable.
And now on the changes that have been made, President Trump spoke to the DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem, about that. We had her on Fox and Friends earlier this morning, and she said this.
I know that President Trump has told me that he's satisfied with it. We've changed communication channels and protocols on how Secret Service works with local law enforcement and how they talk during these types of security events. And then, you know, the big, beautiful bill also gave them more resources that they needed. They needed more resources as far as training, but equipment, drone technology, counter-drone technology. All of that was something that needed to be addressed.
I want to also address with you, obviously, the emotions involved today when there are still so many who are directly involved. In the case of the Corey Comparatore family, his widow, Helen, appears on this Fox Nation special, and she's overwhelmed with emotion, saying what she wants to hear. Listen.
Why would they let the president come out? Why weren't they watching? We were all sitting ducks that day. Our blood is all over their hands. I'm angry. I lost the love of my life. My kids lost their father. They screwed up.
Having lost her husband, you can only imagine that she still has a lot of unanswered questions here.
Yeah, and one of the things she refers to here that we haven't spoken about is the fact that there were sightings of the potential shooter. They didn't know who he was at the time, and yet Donald Trump was still allowed to come out despite all of these operational failures. Another thing I think that could be addressed here to learn from this, because these are suspensions, they're not firings, and so they've made that determination. Good, you keep some of that institutional knowledge. Let's learn from it as opposed to starting to just spread blame. But one of the things I think should be considered is the service has very disparate responsibilities. They have this whole financial investigation arm, counterfeiting, and et cetera, but then they also have the the dignitary protection piece. Those are very disparate missions, and I'm not saying we should just lurch it out of there, but I think there should be consideration to maybe attriting out those financial investigations, give them to Homeland or some other entity. I think that the Secret Service would be better served concentrating on the core mission that the American public understands, which is to protect our important members of the federal government.
Well, those suspensions Fox has been able to confirm did happen in February. I appreciate you coming on with us, Paul. Thank you so much, and good to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.